In the primary curriculum, the business launch playbook, Devin's going to talk to you about how you set your business up for success in the early stages. It's a lot easier to go from 3,000 a month to 10,000 a month in recurring revenue than it is to go from 1,000 a month to 3,000 a month. To go from 0 to 10,000 is our goal. That's kind of where we want to help you get to. But it's that critical hump from $1,000 a month. Okay, basically that's a hobby business, and we want to get you past that $3,000 a month where it's a self-sustaining business that starts replacing some of your day job kind of income. And the issue that I discovered in the high-level community, and at this point I've been in the high-level community for about 4.5 years, doing marketing. Before that, I was in printing for 2.5 years, almost 3 years. Prior to that, so 7 years ago, I was in the U.S. Army for 20 years. And what I do is I think about thinking and I drink coffee. And so I'm sitting in the high-level official community on Facebook, and I'm listening to people talk about their way they do business. And I'm watching different gurus who are using the affiliate model primarily on their YouTube channel, describing how you should use high level as a business. What we're not talking about in this particular training curriculum in the 90-day business launch is how to implement high level for a small business. I can help with that. We're not talking about how a marketing agency should use high level in their business. I can help with that. What we're talking about here is this is a working on your business kind of conversation. This is a strategic thinking about what business are you even playing to win. Laffy and Martin are talking about where you choose to do business and who you choose to compete with is the strategy. Strategy is choice. The strategy of your business is what space you're planning to play in. The problem for many people using high level as a business, what I call a high level agency, is there are actually at least 9 different models for what a high level agency could possibly be. And most of us were introduced to high level by someone who uses high level in a particular way. And we don't know that we don't have to follow their path. Just because it's the right path for them doesn't mean it's the right path for you. Doesn't mean it's the right path for me. Doesn't mean it's the right path for Devin. So what I have come to shape in my head over the last 4.5 years is there are at least 9 distinct business models, and certainly there's some overlap between them. None of them is a clear, concise, this is exactly what that model looks like. And for every single business, even in each of those business models, the business is on its own journey. So what it looks like, how it plays out is unique to that business and the niche target market that business is choosing to serve. So the point of this curriculum, these trainings on the GHL Business Models Discovery path is to help you understand what your options are as you go through the business launch curriculum, so that in your 90-day playbook, you can eliminate business models that don't make sense for you, your unique personality, and you can instead focus on the 2 or 3 that might possibly make sense, and either you combine them into a unique selling proposition, or you, during the course of the decision matrix portion of Devin's curriculum, you identify of those 2 or 3 that might make sense, which 1 or 2 does make sense. And again, having overlap between some of them. So I'm going to take a little bit of this kind of business model and a little bit of this kind, but at least you know I'm combining these two business models because that's giving me my unique mechanism or my unique selling proposition that allows me to make an offer to my target market that's going to make sense to that target market and be that $100,000 deal that Devin talks about. That is going to, you're producing an offer, you're able to produce an offer to that target market that makes them feel stupid if they don't take it. That's how all of what I'm talking about ties to the training that Devin's going to present to you. Having said all of that, there is no expectation, there is no need for you to go through all of the business model possible trainings in sequence, unless you literally don't know what you want to do, in which case you might, just to get that broader background, you might choose to do that. But realistically, for most people, they're going to watch the introductory, please watch this welcome video. Then they're going to watch the introductory video, or there's two versions of it, to get a broad overview of what the business models are. And they're going to immediately eliminate 2 or 3 of them. And then that's going to leave 4 or 5 that they can want to dig into. And so I would then encourage you to watch specifically just the pros and cons video for those couple business models. And then that should give you a sense for whether that matches what your personality is. And see, there's a thing, I'm going to use a 3-way Venn diagram that says, if you're in the marketing space, the traditional marketing agency is very much about creative. There's creative component, but we're talking with high level about a technology component. So there's a technological component. So what is the overlap between creativity and technology? There's very few people who are equally creative and technological. So that person that overlaps has a particular way of using high level that's different from someone who's a distinctly creative or distinctly a technological person. And then business is all about relationships. So how do relationships play into how you choose to do business? And so we're going to take those 3 personality factors, creativity, technology, and relationship, and we're going to lay them onto these 9 different business models. And we're going to show you the ways that you can use the high-level platform as the way to take an offer to market, as a way to be a business, the strategy of your business. If you also want my help learning how to use high level, learning how to serve customers using high level, I can help with that as well. But that's not the point. That's not the objective of this training curriculum. Point of this training curriculum is to allow you to identify the 9 training models, the 9 business models, select the 2 or 3 that make sense for your personality and your target market, and help you build a compelling offer for that target market using Devin's 90-day business launch playbook, or the curriculum for that playbook, so that in the first 2 to 4 weeks, we get you the foundation laid, and you still have 2 months to implement that plan, so you get moving from wherever you are currently stuck to a profitable business with a clear trajectory toward your success. We know there are at least 9 different business models, and we don't want to impose on you any particular business model. We want you to help you find the right business model for you, and we want to help you win. I'm Keith. I'm the bald guy. I help small businesses implement high level, and I help high level agencies learn how to employ high level as a software package, as a software tool shed to serve their customers.